Hello, friends. Here we are at the end. It's Season 8, Episode 6, The Iron Throne. I was waiting for such a long time for this ending, and it was really exactly what was promised. It was gonna be a bitter and sweet ending for the series. I'm just going to bring up a couple of points from the episode, and then I'll finish up a little bit with my thoughts on the ending in general. I really, one of my favorite characters is definitely Jaime. Jaime Lannister has really gone through a lot of crap. He lost his hand. He's been, he's done his evil. He's done his goods. If you really think about it, it showed that at the very end, his love for Cersei was ultimately his downfall. And again, it shows the multifaceted nature of the character, or multifaceted nature of the character. So, I thought it was really fitting for Brienne to write in the book of the Kingsguard his end. What happened to him as a knight, and what was his final actions. And it's funny that this is one of those lessons where the victors write the history. But I thought that was really cool. And I know that most of the characters in Game of Thrones are grayscale. They're grayscale characters in the sense that they're not completely, all good or completely all, evil or light and dark or whatever you want to call it. If you think about it, the really, really good characters or the very one-sided characters tend to die. If you're really evil, you're gonna die. If you're really, really a good guy, you're gonna die. Except Samwell Tarly. Sam is one of my favorite characters next to Arya, and her iconic sticking with the pointy end line and everything. She's a great character too. But Sam is, to me, the grounded example of humanity of the show. He's like the guy that he does what he can, and he's not the heroic fighter. He's more of the thinker, but he has fought. He's done his share. He's shown his bravery at times, and he was just really pensive character, one of the more likable characters really in the show. So I thought it was great. It was great to see him become a maester, and he's got his gray robe on and his chain and everything. I thought that was excellent. I know this is the one thing that people want to talk about, and that people have been talking about a lot, and it is Dany's death at Jon's hands. I think that was a perfect ending for their story arc. I really like the way they did that for several reasons. She embraced her rulership at the end, and she became a tyrant. She was completely corrupted by the power and the knocks that she took as a queen. And a person with that kind of power has a lot of choices to make when they're wronged. And she felt wronged in a lot of ways, and she just took the path of destruction, and which ultimately got her killed. I found it really interesting the way the blood trickled out of her nose and mouth. I don't know if that was because he stabbed her directly in the heart and they wanted to make it look, like pretty, or it was that some sort of show like, she's a magical being, because the Targaryens were not regular humans. And as at least in the book, they're not. They're like extra special people. They're almost like the Numenorians in Lord of the Rings. So to see that happen, it was like a very very Shakespearean death, dagger in the heart. Jon took the plunge. Killed her, and that was a tough thing. But there's a couple of things that could have happened here, or that it seems like this fulfills certain plot points, like the Lord of Light prophecy, and this kind of like fulfills it in a way, in a sort of a roundabout way, and it fits into the answer of the riddle. So I think they left that up, to you to decide. Like most prophecies, right? You think that it means one thing, and something happens, and you can attach it to it. It's just like a lot of Nostradamus's predictions have been layered over current events. It's just always happens. So I don't know. Maybe that's what they were trying to do there. But I thought that was a fitting end for her. It was the only way to go, unless she was just going to become an unstoppable tyrant and just destroy everybody and subjugate everybody to her will. So I think that was just the only way to go for her. And from Jon's perspective, I think this is awesome. I think this made him an incredible character. I don't know. I like tragic figures. I don't like the guy that gets everything at the end, like the Prince Charming type. I just don't like that. I think that tragic heroes are tougher and more, just believable, and more, you wanna root for that guy because the type of stuff he's gone through, he's done, and that he could continue to do. So I like that. I think Jon was being prepared for this for a while, and I think the theme of it is a lot of. Or with a lot of the relationships in the at least the two major ones of Cersei and Jaime, and Jon and Daenerys, it's about duty over love, or choosing love and over duty. Which one, which would you pick? And it's, if you remember back when Aemon Targaryen was talking to Jon about his choices of remaining in the Night's Watch, you could think back, and he could have been talking about a lot of things, or he was preparing Jon for big decisions he had to make. I don't think Aemon was a person that could see the future, but he was a Targaryen, and he knew. He seemed to know a lot. He was very wise and stuff, and it ended up at the end that Jon had to pick between love and duty. It was his duty. He was honor bound, duty bound to kill Dany, because if he didn't, it meant great death and darkness for many, many people. And even though he did love her, people like to say, "Oh, they don't have chemistry," and they did. He said it. "You'll always be my queen." He loved her, but he had to choose. He had to choose between love and duty, and he chose duty. He did. He chose honor. He killed her, and then he confessed to it, and then he suffered the consequences for it. And he was fortunate enough to go to the wall, be sent to the wall, which, to me, I think that's something that he would survive well. He could endure well. Again, it's just like a tragic figure. He is the rightful king. He didn't want it, just like Aemon did not want the throne, and he ends up in the Night Watch, where he could continue to do a job for the realm, right? and a duty for the realm. So he's duty bound once again. So I think that was good, very good. I mean, he could have ended up dead. I mean, what, do you want the character to die? I like, that the character survived. He's a hero. He's still a hero in my book. He's done some great things. Don't forget the other seasons. It's not all about one season. And John's done a lot of good things. And his character to me is really well rounded now. And just look at it. Look at Jaime. Jaime went through his story arc. Jaime chose his love for Cersei. He didn't choose he was duty bound to stay with your brother. I mean, stay where you fought. Don't have to go back to her. Cersei is a tyrant. She is a killer. She sent people to kill you. Bronn came with a crossbow to kill you and your brother. Why you go back to her, I don't know. He was sick in the head, but he did. Then we have Jon, who chose his duty, and it worked out for him. And very honorable mention, very, very honorable mention is Arya. I love the way it ended up for her. She went on the ship to go to become an adventurer. Basically go and, sail the great seas and find out the mysteries of the world. That is awesome. I think that was a very fitting place for her. Sansa, she got what she wanted. She always wanted to be royalty, to be the lady, but now she's the queen of the North. I mean, it's not exactly the southern seats of power where everything's all nice and, warm and everybody it's colorful. This is the North. She's the queen of the North. The North is if, I don't know if you've noticed, but the way people look at it is like they're the barbarians. They're the northern people. They're the tradesmen of the realm. We don't really want to be here. We want to be in the nice, warm climates and easy, better living. But she's queen. And again, seeing Sam, Davos, and Tyrion survive the end of the series was refreshing. I really thought Davos was gonna buy it, but this guy survived with no fingers, and stuff on one hand. So he's pretty. That guy's pretty good. I always like Davos. Davos is a good guy, and Tyrion surviving. I mean, that's my favorite imp, man. He was in a lot of ways the heart of the show, and in a lot of respects, very lively and interesting character that brought a lot of entertainment, had a lot of entertainment value. Very, just a very well-rounded, multifaceted character. I always enjoyed to see episodes with him. And then we come to Bran the Broken becoming king. I think, to me, he was a perfect choice. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, anybody that's talking about it because he's crippled or because he's, they're trying to make him sound like he's special needs or something, and he has problems, he's creepy. You guys should wipe your mouth with some toilet paper. His role was mysterious. The three-eyed raven is almost like a transcending. It's like something beyond human consciousness. This guy could warg into animals, right? He goes into their minds. His mind could travel the future. I like that they make it that he's a little bit different. Yes, you're gonna be different. Your brain is not going to work the same, or you're not going to be like just a normal person if your consciousness could transcend different times in history and just see the things that he sees. And plus, being a green seer as well, he could see future events as well. But he doesn't know exactly which one's going to happen. He can only figure it out. Because remember when he went with Max von Sydow's character, the first Raven, he's one of my favorite actors actually. He said you got to be careful because you are going to be tempted to stay, here, and you could get lost in here. Your consciousness could get lost in the past or in your visions, so you have to be very careful. And I don't know. I just thought that was. I think that was awesome. Once again, a mysterious three-eyed raven is the king of Westeros, right? There's so many things you could write about that, or just the mixture of that. He's a Stark. He's a three-eyed raven. He's Green Seer. A lot of things involved with Bran, and again, maybe I'd like to have seen a little bit more of him, but I think it was enough. And he's gonna do his job, and I think that's more than enough. So as an end, I think that the series ended well. It had to end. Some shows don't even get 8 seasons, or even give a decade of work to the actors. Some of these guys were making $500,000 per episode. I mean, I'm happy to have seen the great, that fantastic fantasy battle scenes, dragons, undead, monster. I mean, it was just giants. This shit is crazy. I mean, you can't get stuff like this in movies, other than maybe if you rewatching The Lord of the Rings over and over again. But even then, I think that some of the scenes were like the battle scenes were done even better than in Lord of the Rings, in my opinion. They seemed a little more visceral and more real. But that's just me. Again, this show, don't consider it a life event. A child wasn't born, or a relative didn't die in war. This is a fantasy TV show that anyone that got into it and watched this should be happy with the ending. It was a cool twist and some lovely moments. All I know, I wasn't expecting a Disney ending. Like I'm more into true reality ending type shows or endings. I don't like the happily ever after syrup fest. I like salty pork and bitter beer is a better end. Okay, that's much better to the palate to me. When you get and that's satisfying in itself. And maybe it takes some time. You gotta be a little older maybe to appreciate those type of endings. I don't know. I think I appreciate them more now than I did when I was younger. And I'd like to say the end of this video, which is the end of. I'm never gonna do another Game of Thrones video after this. I don't think, unless I do something on next week's special episode. But I'd like to thank the cast and the crew who brought us this awesome series, and I hope great things in the future for all of you. All of you actors were great. Just all the actors were top notch, and I wish you all the best in future shows and movies that you do. So this is Great Big Sword signing out. Goodbye.